Stop feeding the cosmetic injectable industry. But I do not agree with 20-year-olds having their lips filled. I know the Jenners and the Kardashians, they're all about fillers and Botox. They've had incredible loss of laxity and they have to go for surgery after that. Clients that are in their 60s and 70s who have already left it too long and have neglected their skin, those are the people that need it. Your 20-year-olds, you don't need it. Okay, 30-year-olds, you don't need it. Even 40-year-olds, you do not need Botox or filler. Welcome to the Holistic Skin Guru, where what's on the surface is just as important as what's underneath. I'm your host, Aamena. Let's dive deep into the world of holistic skincare. Welcome back to another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about fillers. Fillers are not your friend. What the filler is a gel-like substance that is made from hyaluronic acid, and its different consistency are used in different areas of the face. And there are also different brands on the market, some with good reputations and others not so good. So hyaluronic acid naturally occurs in the skin. Like the skin makes its own hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is used in a filler to be able to plump the skin up or give the skin a more full or rounded look. So for example, for women who get filler under their eye, they would be injected with a gel-like substance in this area. And the idea is that where there are wrinkles or where there is sagging, it fills that area up. But what can actually happen is that if the injector overfills or uses the gel in such a way that doesn't complement the contours of the face, the client can actually end up looking puffy. It gives the illusion of the eyes being smaller than what they were normally. And that's where we coin the term pillow face, unfortunately. These are things to consider when you're thinking about having filler. I'm not against it. I think there is a space for filler and Botox in our industry, and it's more for an older demographic who have left it a very long time to do anything to really fix their skin, and so they may need a series of a little bit of filler, a little bit of Botox, a little bit of good skincare diet change. But for your clients that are in their 60s and 70s who have already left it too long and have neglected their skin, those are the people that need it. Your 20-year-olds, you don't need it. Okay, 30-year-olds, you don't need it. Even 40-year-olds, you do not need Botox or filler. What you need is good professional advice around healthy skincare to get your skin looking radiant, glowing with health, because that's what makes you beautiful. Your glow. What's happening on the inside is going to reflect through your face, through your skin. If you're a happy person, that's also going to reflect through your skin. It's going to give you that glow and that beauty that everyone's looking for. So that's part of the equation of getting really, really good, beautiful skin. Just injecting something in your skin is not the answer. Most of the time it creates other issues, and I'm going to talk about that later on in the video. But what it's mainly doing and what is of concern for people like myself and what we're seeing in clinic is that it's changing the shape of people's faces. It's forcing your face to stretch in certain areas, and depending on your injector, they may over-inject filler in certain areas of your face, and that changes the contours and the natural shape of your face. It ends up making you look, in some instances, puffy, and that's where the term pillow face came from, like I said before. And a lot of people just tend to have a very different look. It's almost like an injectable look. And you can spot it. We can spot it straight away. They don't look like themselves. And it's kind of alien looking as well. It looks unnatural. Some doctors and surgeons are now speaking up about fillers. And I'm so glad they finally are speaking up about it. And they're going online and they're telling real stories about fillers, kind of like a warning to those who are overdoing it, because where I don't have an issue with those people who are doing a little bit here and there are too many people overfilling. And there's two reasons for that. One is the industry is pushing for that. So, you'll go in for your first filler appointment and you'd have that done and they'll tell you need to come back in 3 months or you need to come back in 6 months. And they kind of creating a habit where this industry wasn't supposed to be like that. It was just supposed to be a one-off or maybe once every couple of years. It wasn't supposed to be there for people to go in every few months to have these injectables done. And so for these doctors and these surgeons, kudos to them for actually speaking up about this. They have come out and said that they found that over time that these fillers have not metabolized in the body like we've been told they would. And they've been sitting there and they've now migrated. So for example, if you've had filler, say in this area of your face, and 3 or 4 years have passed by, and your face is kind of looking a bit wonky and you're wondering what's going on, and you go back to your doctor and he does an MRI, guess what he's finding? Those fillers have traveled. And the reason they have traveled, they've moved, so they've gone to other areas of the face and settled there. And the reason that's happened is because hyaluronic acid naturally holds or attracts 1,000 times its weight in water. So when it's been sitting there for months and years on end, and your skin is dehydrated or your body's dehydrated, you're not drinking enough water and you're not putting enough hydration into yourself, that filler goes looking for water and it starts to travel. So it's not metabolizing like they've told us it would. It actually starts moving. And so these poor patients are going to their doctors and they're saying, my face looks strange. I don't know why. And when the doctors have done further investigations, they found that they've sent their clients for scans and they found that these fillers have traveled and they've had to dissolve them and get rid of them. And immediately the clients look like themselves after they've been dissolved. Now, dissolving fillers are not cheap and they're also quite painful. So these are 2 things that you guys need to consider, especially if you've been overfilling over the years. You might want to stop for a while, give yourself a break. Maybe you want to go back to your doctor and ask for an MRI and get a scan done and check to see where your fillers are sitting to make sure that they haven't moved. But the fact that doctors are now openly talking about it, that these instances are presenting after 5, 6, and 7 years after clients have had their filler done in their faces. And in most cases, that 7-year filler that's migrated is actually making people look older than they are. So it's creating other issues in their face. Now, how do we get out of the cycle of fillers and breaking our habit, our addiction to fillers? The steps that you can do now to help you slowly wean off them is to stop feeding the cosmetic injectable industry. It is an industry and it's churning out people. It's what's encouraging younger people from going in and having these injectables done. Like I said, I'm not totally against it, but I do not agree with 20-year-olds having their lips filled. I do not agree with 30-year-olds having their faces filled. It's not necessary. You end up not looking natural. Now, I know the Jenners and the Kardashians, and they're all about fillers and they're all about Botox, and you can tell from their skin, they've had incredible loss of laxity in their skin, and they have to go for surgery after that because there's no other way. Once you've stretched that skin, you have to do either more filler, which ends up more of a pillow face, or you reduce the filler and then you've got to look at other skin lifting treatments. So even the people with the best injectors in the world, like the Kardashians, still end up with these kind of mistakes. You only have to Google Kylie Jenner, who was recently pictured at the Paris Fashion Week, I think it was. And the photograph that was taken, obviously she's just in natural lighting and there's no big, professional photographers around with their big lamps and things. So when the photo was taken, she was looking down, and when you look down, automatically the filler starts to sag. And so that photo exposed her filler. Can you imagine being the injector that did that to her? Like, the internet went berserk, and I bet you the next day he was cancelled. So Very, very easy to get this happen to you. And even millionaires and multimillionaires have the same issues as we do. So make sure that whoever's injecting you, first of all, don't get injectors. They're not your friend. But if you are going to go that route, make sure you only do a little bit at a time. There are so many other things you can do before you look at fillers. And if you really want to go with injectables, I would be steering you towards products, or there are things on the market that actually help to increase the health of your skin. They are injectables, but they're not fillers. So you can get these products. One of them is Profilo. It's a really good product to rejuvenate the skin, and it's injected into the skin. It actually makes the skin healthy, but it's not a filler. So there are other options for you, but people are not talking about it because Profilo, you'd probably have one done every few years. You wouldn't need to have one done every 3 months, and that just doesn't make business sense. So they don't talk about it as much. So fillers are not your friend. Thank you for joining me on Holistic Skin Guru. If this episode has helped you get one step closer to achieving your skin goals, I'd love your support with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform too. If you've got any questions about your skin, I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me at Holistic Skin Guru on all platforms. Don't forget, as a listener, you can get 10% off all treatments at our Skin Fit New Farm Clinic in Brisbane. Simply pop the word podcast in your booking online or mention it on the phone when you book.